This evening is Monica Mayuni Kayombo. Monica, good evening to you. How are you today?
I'm very fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. What stories have you picked for this evening's analysis?
Okay, I have 3 stories, and the first one is where the Ministry of Health has decided that sunscreen be officially classified as essential medicine. Then we have another story where the independent investigator that was engaged to assess pollution levels arising from the spillage of acid bicyanomatous on the Copper Belt has released their report. Then I'm also going to talk about the need for regulating motorcycles in Zambia. So I think I start with the story that is coming from the Copper Belt, where an independent consultant engaged by the government to assess pollution levels arising from the spillage of acid bicyanomatous leach has disclosed that Mwambashi and Chambishi streams remain contaminated. This story has been there since February this year. We know that the pollution came about due to the spillage that affected so many people on the Copper Belt in Kalurushi to be particular. And we had the farmers compensated because they could not grow their crops due to the high levels of acid in the soil. And now that this report has been released, I think we are going to see the number of people that need to be compensated rising. And I don't know how the government is going to work out this particular issue to ensure that all those people that deserve to be compensated are compensated. This investigator, during the time that he was giving out a report, he stated that, there are a number of health risks associated with this contamination that took place. And I think one of them is definitely the skin irritation, and some of them may not even show some of those symptoms. They may show maybe years later. So I don't know how the government is going to work out what system the government is going to employ to ensure that all those people that are affected by this pollution are compensated. And then we don't know if there are some people that are actually seeking health services due to the contamination that took place. We don't know if the government has come in maybe to pay their hospital bills. I think if there are such people, they should also engage the government so that the government or the Ministry of Health can actually foot down their medical bills, because it's not their fault that they are undergoing such problems. Then going forward, I think I would like the government to also engage a private investigator to investigate the spillage that recently took place in Mwense in Luapula province. It's a similar situation. There isn't a big difference at all. And I think we had some man complaining that he's having some issues after consuming some water from the Mwense River. So I think the government must quickly engage a private investigator to investigate the extent of pollution that has taken place in Mwense following the collapse of the spillage there. I mean the collapse of the tailing dam. And going forward, I think I would like to see the Ministry of Mines working in collaboration with ZEMA to actually monitor the construction of these tailing dams, so that they ensure that these tailing dams are constructed to high standard. From the look of things, most of these tailing dams are substandard. That's why we are seeing a lot of collapse taking place, resulting in contamination to a huge number of people. So going forward, I think the government must look into this matter seriously to prevent future contamination of water and the soil, the land around the areas where these mining companies are operating. And this starts, of course, with ZEMA. So we should not actually continue experiencing such contamination in the future. Now that we have seen that we have this problem that is happening. It started with the Sino Metals on the copper belt. Now we have the other one happening in Mwense. So we should not record such contamination issues in the future if the government is going to take precaution. And then this now has confirmed the fears that the American government had. You remember that they withdrew their workforce from the copper belt when the reports went around that there was this spillage taking place, and some people never believed that there is a serious contamination. And from February up to now, I think we have a lot of people that have actually taken this contaminated water, because it's not possible that they have been buying mineral water all this while. So we expect to see the number of people that have been affected by the contamination that took place at Sino Metals to increase. Then I go to the story where the Ministry of Health has disclosed that sunscreen has been officially classified as an essential medicine alongside critical medicine such as ARVs and Panadol. This development is very, very welcome, and I think it's very good. It has come at the right time. We've been we've been seeing actually a lot of people with skin condition, those with albinism, yes. Those with albinism having a lot of problems because most of them in the past could not afford the sunscreen. It's very, very expensive. Now that government has classified it as essential medicine, I think we are going to see a lot of these people living with albinism to be able to access the sunscreen so that they can take care of their skins and protect themselves from the sun, at the same time protect themselves from cancer, because exposure, those people when they are exposed to the sun for a longer period of time, if they are not using the sunscreen, they end up having cancer, and some of them develop other skin conditions which are very difficult to control. So I think what has happened is commendable, and the government must be commended for having come through for the people living with albinism. I think they've been crying for so many years. We also had John Chiti, I think, in the past, where he even started engaging the government so that they could make this sunscreen affordable. And we hope that some people are not going to abuse, this gesture that has been given by the government. Then last but not the least, I'm going to talk about the story of the need to regulate motorcycles. Lately, we've seen an increase of motorcycles on our Zambian roads. And in as much as we know that this is very good for development, and we have a lot of people actually using these cyclists for courier services. It's very good, it's affordable and all that, but there's another dark side of this development. We've seen that most of these motorcyclists are not actually licensed, and some of them are actually overloading. We've seen these things happening. Just, I think 2 weeks ago, I had one motorcyclist that was trying to squeeze himself in between the two lanes, and he ended up denting my vehicle and denting another person's vehicle. Then he sped off. It's very, very difficult to trace these people, and in terms of accidents, when they are involved in accidents, we see that most of them actually get away with that. They are not easily traced. And then another thing of concern is that most of these motorcyclists are not using the helmets, because it's a requirement for them to use the helmets each time they are on the road. But we see that most of them, the motorcyclists themselves, are not using the helmets. Even the passengers most of the time are not using the helmets. So this is another source of concern, and I think RATSA must come in to ensure that these people are regulated to protect the Zambian people, and also prevent a number of traffic accidents. The fact that most of these motorcyclists do not even understand some of these traffic symbols. They just you know, ride their cycles anyhow without following the traffic rules. So going forward, I think there should be a way in which they should be trained, and there should be a system in which they should be captured in an event that they commit any traffic offense. Just recently, I think we had diggers reporting that between January and September 2025, about 375 fatalities took place, and these fatalities were caused by these motorcyclists. So that is a very huge concern, and it's high time, I think, RATSA took this matter seriously to see how best they can address the challenge of these motorcyclists. Most of them are not even licensed, and that's a serious risk to the people. They are on the roads where we have a lot of motorists, and they are just moving about without following the traffic rules. I think this is what I do have for today. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much for making time to come through to the studio.
Thank you.
On that note, we end this evening's